Hello world, welcome to myself, Max McGillivray from Beanstalk Global. We are live today with the fantastic Leanne Jones from the PMA. Leanne, say hello to everyone.
Hi everyone, we're back.
We've had a slight hiatus, but we're back in town and we're talking about an amazing fruit. And let's see if we've got all of our experts all set up and ready for this. Everyone, after three, what is the most amazing fruit in the world? 1, 2, 3.
Dragon fruit.
I think we're going to go for this one more time. After three, what's the most amazing fruit in the world? 1, 2, 3.
Dragon fruit.
This is working well. And also, more importantly, what country in the world grows the best dragon fruit? So after three, what country in the world grows the best dragon fruit? 1, 2, 3.
South Africa.
Yeah, we got there. Fantastic. That worked really well. So come on, Leanne, let's firstly introduce the PMA and PMA Southern Africa to those that might not know. So could you tell us all about the PMA, please, Leanne?
Super, Max. So the PMA is an association that represents all of our members globally, covering every part of the supply chain in the fresh produce industry. So we have members from seed producers right all the way up to retailers. The PMA's mission really is to connect our members together to each other and to business opportunities and support them through lots of research and information across different pillars such as sustainability, produce safety, ag tech, marketing. And really, we're there to help our members grow and flourish. And that's what we do.
And I forget, Leanne, we've been running these broadcasts now for 8 months, 12 months. So we've covered avocados, citrus, palm fruit. We've got kiwi fruits next week, dragon fruit. This is going to be a fascinating conversation, especially with the experts, Leanne, that you've garnered for us all.
Absolutely. It's a crop that's about to boom. There's been some very exciting developments in Southern Africa where the growers, I think 40 odd, have come together and actually started to form an association to put themselves on the map and grow the industry. I'm not the experts. As you can see, we've got lots of experts on the broadcast with us today, but it's unique for South Africa. And our growers grow unique varieties that bring a completely different flavor profile into the market. And of course, all of our growers in Southern Africa are experts in export. So you're going to get the same great fruit as you do from our grapes and our citrus and our apples and our avocados and our plums and our peaches.
Leanne, the bit I always love is the amazing volumes that in an average year, all of you are exporting something in the region of 4.5 million tons of amazing fresh produce. And internally, you're serving your wholesale markets to the tune of 3.5 million tons of fresh produce. It's just such a phenomenal amount. And even more so that we're not talking about iron ore or grain. We're talking about amazing hand-picked, hand-grown fresh produce. But let's just look at the subject of dragon fruit. And if it's okay, I just want to give a bit of a background, especially for those on the podcast. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn. But just for those on the podcast, just so they can get an understanding, because I learned a lot from the research that we've done on the subject. So dragon fruit is a very large, mostly red-skinned, scaly fruit produced by a fast-growing trailing cactus. Dragon fruit farming is a relatively young industry in South Africa. Local dragon fruit farms show huge potential to deliver substantial amounts of fruit to Northern Hemisphere markets. The Southern African dragon fruit industry is mainly based on the red skin varieties, with the pink flesh fruit being the most popular. Dragon fruit prefers a warm subtropical climate and is successfully grown in areas where avocados and macadamia nuts are cultivated, and is harvested from around December to January and April to May. So come on, let's get in, do a deep dive and find out who we've got in the way of our experts. So in no particular order. CT, can you introduce yourself and who you represent, please?
Hi, Max. Thank you very much. My name is CT van der Merwe. I'm the CEO of Aldri, and we are a farming company that specializes in the production of potatoes, onions, butternuts, and recently now for 4 years, dragon fruit as well. And we are located in 5 different areas across South Africa and the 3 different provinces.
Wow, that's going to be fascinating to ask you later, CT, and also the others as to why you got into dragon fruit. It's going to be fascinating, but let's leave that for a little bit later. Michael, who are you, please, and who are you representing? Michael, just turn on your ears, please. We love that. We love that comment, don't we, Michael?
Thank you.
Go, Michael.
Thank you. I'm also a farmer, representing a group. It's like a family setup, Miller Family Boerdery Trust. And we actually have avocado farmers and also got into dragon fruit about 4 years ago. Yeah, right. Together with Amarentia Sweet Dragon Fruits, it's like a company that wanted to promote the production of dragon fruit in South Africa, and they did some interesting work. But anyway, later on,
fantastic.
We'll talk more about that.
Michael, thank you. Fred, over to you, please. Who are you and who are you representing?
Thank you, Max. We are a family farm in the Lowveld of South Africa, quite north up, close to Nelspruit. We started with dragon fruit farming about 7 years ago, and I've been elected chairman of the newly formed association. And yeah, thank you for having us on your broadcast, and we are looking forward to having a great conversation with you.
Fantastic, Fred, and congratulations on being made the chair of this fascinating fruit subject. Lauren, over to you. Who are you and who are you representing?
Hi, Max. Thanks so much for having me. So I work alongside my father also on our family farm. We are just outside of Zanin, which is in Limpopo, very close to where Michael Muller farms his avocados and dragon fruit. And we got into the dragon fruit industry about 5 or 6 years ago from a sort of passionate about different exotic new plants perspective. We don't really grow them hugely commercially. We are developed as a farm, but we have a nursery. So we propagate a variety of subtropical tree crops, as in macadamias and avocados, and then more recently the dragon fruits.
Lauren, thank you very, very much. So again, it's fascinating that all of you are very astute growers, marketers, exporters of your products. So it's fascinating that you've allowed entry of this new product in, whether it be 3 years ago or 7 years ago. I think what we need to have a bit of an understanding of is dragon fruit, and on a bit more of an expert perspective. What we need is an expert. Jason, you are the expert on dragon fruit. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then can we do a deep dive as to dragon fruit and how it came about to the growing, the production of it in South Africa, please, Jason? Over to you.
Okay, my name is Jason Sampson. I work for the University of Pretoria. I got into dragon fruit also about 5 years ago when I was looking for a research topic. And I've pretty much just run with it ever since then.
Excellent. So are you the man? Are you the man to blame for this increased production of dragon fruit in South Africa? Then, Jason, you sowed this. You've sowed the seed, the magic dust, with everyone else on this call.
No, I don't think I can take the blame. I think we all independently discovered dragon fruit on our own and drifted together naturally. Shared interests. Shared passions and the ability to help one another out.
Yeah, as is always the way in South Africa, isn't it? It's all about collaboration. I remember some 10 years ago, speaking to a commercial director of a big fruit importation business in the UK, and he was very excited because he stated, so this is about 10 years ago, that there was 30 to 40 exotic fruit varieties out there that had the potential to come to market. Jason, I just need to lean on you again. How long has dragon fruit been around as a commercial crop? Where is it today? Where do you think it's going to be in the future in terms of production and economically? Will it be on par with grapes and citrus and palm fruit? Do you think, Jason?
Well, that's a very long story that you're asking me to condense into a very short introduction, but. Dragon fruit comes from South and Central America, where, of course, it's been used as a food plant for thousands of years. It was introduced into the East, Vietnam, Thailand, and so forth by the French about 100 years ago, where it's been farmed since then. The modern varieties and the improved varieties date back to the 1990s Israeli and American breeding efforts. So it's a very young fruit on the world market, as it were. Yeah. So it's been locally important, but now with with testing of its health benefits. It's been declared a superfood. There's a lot of trendiness behind the name and the brand. So it is going to explode into the world scene. It's got a huge amount of potential to take on the more favorite fruits.
That's fascinating. There's a lot of food companies in the UK and globally that employ large teams of NPD, new product development people. And it's fascinating with fresh produce that you don't need NPD teams. You just got to look out for fruits like this and look to see if you can exploit them further for further commercial gain. So let's go to the growers and just get an understanding as to why they've looked to get into the sector of dragon fruit. Lauren, let's start with you. What was the catalyst for yourselves, for you and your father, to get into dragon fruit, please?
As I mentioned, there's just a passion for fruits and for growing plants in general. And we came across these really delicious tasting cultivars, and it was very much my father's brainchild and something that I've started working more closely with only in the last sort of 3 years. But I mean, just look at that fruit. It's so exotic. It is so marketable. It is so vibrant, and it's exciting and enticing. And you know, it's a dream in the nursery because it's not difficult to propagate, and it was something that was explored as brand new, exotic. We caught a glimpse of the potential because of the vibrant new flavors and tastes and sweetness in the varieties that are available.
Okay, and do you think do you think the potential is uncapped? So as an example, I haven't seen any influencers yet looking to adopt the product to promote. As Jason sort of intimated, do you think there's a huge potential, Lauren, for this product on a global basis?
Absolutely. I really, really do, because like I said, it's so marketable. Look at the color of it. You cut that open and look at the color inside. It's versatile. You can eat it fresh. You can juice it. You can use it to beneficiate other products. It's endless what can be done with dragon fruits. And it's something exciting for the consumer, and it's something that they're really starting to consider to add to their shopping baskets. Yeah. I mean, I often think about blueberries in this country, and not that many years ago, you didn't often find people putting blueberries in their shopping basket. It was marketed in such a way that it is now, it's for many people a staple.
Yeah. So that's going to be fascinating that my kids devour blueberries. It's going to be interesting in a couple of years' time is to see, hopefully, whether they're doing the same with dragon fruit. And Lauren, I was saying about what we need as an influencer. I think you're the influencer. I think you're the South African influencer on dragon fruit. CT, over to you. Why did you look to get involved with dragon fruit? Have you just taken as we say in the UK, a punt on it to see if it works, or are you rifled into the fact that this will be a success, long-term, ongoing?
Max, yeah, we were looking for something, the fruit that we can export. And we looked at a couple of options. And I think just to elaborate on what Lauren just said now, if you look at dragon fruit, I think the sad thing about dragon fruit is very few people know about it. And those that do know about it just know the varieties that do not really taste well. So the experience isn't very well for most consumers, but it's unbelievably healthy fruit. It's very tasty, and it's I always say it's an Instagrammable fruit. You know, it's just something the ladies love it on Instagram. It's a beautiful fruit with excellent colors. So I personally think if you look at something like a kiwi fruit, or like Lauren just mentioned with the blueberries, I think the kiwi fruit market cap is at about $7.9 billion US. I think that's very easy to get to that volumes on dragon fruit if you get the right influencers and if you can educate the consumers regarding the benefits.
CT, well said. I said about Lauren being an influencer. It's interesting to say about Instagram. It feels like we need a male model as well, a South African male model to promote this fruit. So we've got CT, we've got you, we've also got Michael, who we'll come on to in a minute. Jason, you got a point there you want to make?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what CT was saying. People underestimate the value of something that's actually a superfood. Now, the reason why dragon fruit have been declared a superfood, there's still ongoing research onto the health benefits that dragon fruit give you. But I mean, I've just read a couple of papers that were published in Nature this year, 2021, on anti-cancer effects of eating dragon fruit, particularly anti-colon cancer. It seems to have anti-diabetic effects, liver protection effects, etc. And a lot of those effects are actually related to some of the compounds that give the colored fruit such a vibrant color. So it's just a real pity that the fruit is not actually in season in South Africa yet. Otherwise, we could have shown you some gorgeous images. Even the white fleshed fruit is a lovely ice white with pitch black seeds. Yeah. But then you get the reds and the pinks and the magentas. Those purples are a color that is very difficult to describe. It's almost like an electric beetroot color. Yeah. If that makes any sense whatsoever. And those purples are color fast as well. My lab coat has got 5-year-old stains from those purples.
Fantastic. And Jason, it's what I've learned already is because it's a superfood. One thing that we picked up in the UK, that over the whole pandemic thing, we've had £1 billion worth of additional fresh produce sales because people have been scratch cooking at home. They want to eat more healthily, and for dragon fruit to be promoted as a superfruit, as a superfood, that's great. And also naming wise, just for kids, what a fantastic name. What's in your lunchbox? Dragon fruit. What's that? Let's have a look. So it's a bit like Pink Lady Apples is a great name, but I would actually say the name dragon fruit is even more enticing. It's a marketeer's dream. So we've got to go over to our other male model for dragon fruit. Michael, come on, I'm going to set you up for this one. Why did you get involved with dragon fruit, please?
Well, we as farmers, we're also looking for something different, additional, complementary to avocados. And so we had a section of avocados that wasn't doing too well. And actually, friends, as Laura mentioned, her father mentioned to us, well, why don't you attempt this type of project? Because it's quite hardy. It can withstand quite a variation of circumstances and conditions. So he introduced it to us as a proposition. And we looked at it, and it's working fine for us so far. As a matter of fact, I quickly sent someone. We have something from last season, still in the refrigerator. So if you want to taste a bite here, I have some for you.
Excellent. And as Jason said, it's the colours as well. So we've got a great name. We've got the health benefits. We've also got the colours. I think what we also need now is an association, a trade association, to take all of this and make some fantastic magic dust out of it. Fred, over to you. Tell us about your new role as the chair of the Southern African Dragon Fruit Association and what you hope to achieve with the association going forward, please.
Yes, obviously it's a very newly formed industry in South Africa, and the association consists of growers, and Jason is our main advisor for the association and for the board. And our main goal for the first couple of years will be research. That will be on varieties, different varieties for local markets and for export. And then also on management of these fruits in South Africa in different climatic conditions, where it will be suited and how it will be best managed. And then lastly, marketing, obviously. This is a fruit with great exportability, with big export markets that South Africa still needs to tap into. We are farmers ourselves, and we have been busy for 7 years. That's a bit longer than most of the other growers. I think the industry is basically about 5 to 10 years old in South Africa. And we have started to export to Europe, and we have done well so far, and especially Great Britain as well. So we are very excited where this can go. And yeah, the association is basically to get structure, to give the industry structure within South Africa, and to get the farmers growing, working together and sharing knowledge, and obviously helping each other to get the standards to where it should be, and get the farm practices in line, and hopefully create a great export product that we can be proud of, and that the world would like to import, and hopefully grow that market to where South Africa is with other fruits at this stage.
Excellent. Well said, Fred. And I presume that if there are Southern African growers that would like to be involved with the association, that you would be keen for them to come and join with you. You'd like to grow the membership.
Yes, definitely. At this stage, we are between 30 and 40 members, and I think that will grow within the next couple of years substantially, because there's a lot of interest to plant this crop at this stage. Most growers at this stage are still doing it experimentally, and has not started commercial production yet. But I think as soon as we start with getting a few success stories out of South Africa, and that they see that it does work, and that we can produce great varieties in South Africa with great taste and quality, then more guys will get on board, and we can become even stronger in the international market.
Excellent. And just on that side, in the green room, we were talking about how the likes of Vietnam grow a dragon fruit. I'll just turn the dials down so the likes of the Americans and South America can't hear. But the likes of the Americans, do they also grow dragon fruit, or is South Africa in this unique position that because of your topography and your climate conditions that you've got the potential of growing a great product ongoing? Jason, shall we, as our resident expert, shall we ask you that? Are there other countries growing dragon fruit who might be a bit more advanced than South Africa currently?
Well, yes, there are, but one of the great benefits of South Africa is that our season is flipped from the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So we'll be supplying dragon fruit to an out of season market.
Okay. Okay. And everyone, not trying to be over.
Also, it's subtropical. Sorry, I was just about to say it's a subtropical fruit. So we've got a lot of subtropical growing zones.
Yep. Okay. And everyone, not trying to be too enthusiastic about this, but do you think there is this huge potential? Lauren, can you see you putting more acres, hectares down of this product as hopefully the market grows and the likes of Fred and the Trade Association gain you more sales? Lauren, can you see you putting more product down, more planting ongoing of dragon fruit?
That's a great question, Max. So actually our farm, Amarenche Estate, which is in a valley just outside of Zanin, we are actually fully developed. And probably a little bit cool to grow dragon fruit, but we have definitely started putting our feelers out there to potentially to partner with people other growers who might have land available where it's suitable to grow dragon fruit. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and there's an interesting element on this that we've been having a number of conversations about this week, about the margin pressure that's going on within UK retail, presumably on the basis that you can create potentially a South African brand for dragon fruit and look to export it. You should be able to get good margin return, you would hope. Fred, what's your thought on that? Can you create this unique opportunity, so a bit like Pink Lady, that can hold a very high margin because of its taste and its branding? Fred, is that something that you believe that you can establish for the South African market, to create this product, create this brand, and create a decent margin return for your growers? Fred?
Yes, definitely. I think that forms part of the research that the association wants to do now in the next year as well, to make sure that we are actually growing the right varieties and managing them well, so that we can land a product of great quality in the overseas markets. and that will give us that premium that we can get back on the farm. At this stage, it is definitely financially viable to grow them. We do get good prices, although to export, the prices has gone up since COVID hit us. Even if it's by air freight or by sea, those prices, we do feel them back on the farm as well. But we do get good prices overseas, and if we can continue to better ourselves and get the right quality product out there, then definitely I think that South Africa can not only compete, but actually rule that market overseas, and we can establish a great brand of dragon fruit, and it can only grow from here. It can only get better.
And Fred, I'm guessing if there's one thing I've learned over 18 months with Leanne doing these broadcasts is this magic word collaboration. I'm guessing that if there were marketeers or large-scale retailers that can see the potential of dragon fruit to actually encourage the consumer to come into the fresh produce aisles, that you would welcome a hand-on-hand approach with those retailers, those marketeers, so that they can assist you to grow, to market, to bring the product to the likes of the UK and Europe. Would Fred, would you and your colleagues be interested in such collaboration conversations, please?
Definitely, yes. Obviously, it's an easier product for the consumer to buy in, let's say, Europe, where it's a bit more affordable for them. Even in South Africa, we've seen great growth in the local market over the last couple of years. We have established new hectareage, new lands over the last couple of years because the market is growing, and we are seeing that even within South Africa. We would like to collaborate with anyone within South Africa to grow this even further, but also overseas. We have found it that most of the big retailers are looking for new products, and they are looking for something fresh and new, and that we are actually getting into those markets quite easily, and that there is a big need for dragon fruit overseas. So we'd like to, as an association and as farmers on this side of a pond, we would really like to collaborate with anyone looking to expand on marketing and on producing dragon fruit at this stage.
And you look at the likes of our retailer in the UK, M&S, they want to be in front with innovation. They want to be in front in terms of quality. And they want to be, coming back to what Jason said earlier, they want to be in front in terms of colour. So if it's okay, we'll send our key contacts at M&S on the fresh produce side the recording of this, because I'm sure they'd be fascinated to hear. I've just had a WhatsApp asking how easy is it to grow this product. So come on, let's ask that question. CT, over to you. Is dragon fruit? It sounds too good to be true. Is it an easy crop to grow, or is that where the speed hump is in the sector of dragon fruit? Is it an easy crop to grow, CT?
Max, I think it's basically like any other crop. I think you have to farm it. If you want to do it economically in a viable, economical way, you have to farm it. You have to look at your expenses, and you need yield and quality. So I wouldn't say it's easy. I think there's a rumor going around that it's an easy and a cheap crop to grow. It's very labor intensive, but I think if you can farm with anything else, you would be able to farm with the dragon fruit.
Thank you. That's reassuring. Michael, can you just describe because I just had another WhatsApp on that basis. Just describe the actual plant. Say in comparison to macadamia, say in comparison to avocado, say in comparison to citrus. What's the actual form? How long does it take to bear fruit? What's the longevity of the plant, Michael?
Look, there are two ways of propagating it. Obviously, it has little seeds like the kiwi, if you look close by.
Yeah, brilliant.
And those little black seeds you can plant, but they take about. I've planted some with seeds. After 5 years, they're still very small and will not flower yet. So we rather plant it vegetatively, a piece of the cladodes about 300 to 400 millimeter long, and it shoots after planting the cladode or the piece of vegetative plant material. Within 2 years from then, you might have the first flower on that plant. So 24 months, which means it's fairly easy. CT was referring to it. To establish a plant, very easy. So easy that it can be, it's actually classified in some areas as a alien invader.
Oh God!
Because you throw it down and it shoots roots.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And the longevity of the plant. Have you got I've seen some examples in your beautiful South Africa of avocados being 20, 30 years old. What's the longevity of a dragon fruit plant, please?
It depends on your circumstance. We have avocado trees, just referring to avocado briefly, planted in 1949, and they're still productive. The same with the dragon fruit type plant. As a cultivar, I don't know any one of us that has enough reference for long enough to know, but that family plants in some areas that have been planted as domesticated just for flowers, and it has covered trees, and they say the grandmother and the grandfather, wow, they have planted them. So the longevity, I think, depends on your circumstances.
Okay, thank you. And Lauren, the seeds themselves, are you having to buy them from a seed house, or as I think you mentioned earlier, are you having to propagate them yourselves? There's obviously a long lead time for the likes of avocado plants. How does it work at that base stage with dragon fruit, please, Lauren?
Max, we haven't propagated them by sowing seeds on a large scale at all. So we propagate, as Michael mentioned, we basically do rooted cuttings. So we cut pieces of what they call the cladode off, and we root them in our nursery bags. You can also root them directly in field, but many people prefer to buy it as a fully rooted plant because it's already quite well established. And then also at the time of selecting, let's say it's a hectare's worth of plants for a customer, we'll do our best to ensure a uniform batch of trees, of plants, making sure that they've all got a nice full root system in the bag. Whereas if you went and planted all of your own cuttings in between your plants, you may end up with a little bit of variability. But that is the way that we propagate them.
Excellent, thank you. Jason, you had a point to make, please.
Yeah, basically it's this. There's about 14 to 16 species in the genus, and there's growing them from seed will get you precisely nowhere unless you're actually trying to develop new varieties and hybridizing specifically for flavor or taste, speed of growth, or other desirable characteristics. The cultivars that we're discussing and that we're mentioning here that you grow vegetatively generally stem from the breeding efforts of the Californians or the Israelis over the last 30 to 40 years. And they've been selected for sweetness, flavor, color, and other desirable characteristics, which is why it is preferable to grow them from cladodes. And that's why that's one of the spheres of research that we would like to look into is what are the best improved varieties. It's the same thing with virtually any other fruit crop. You don't just plant a macadamia nut and hope that it's going to be a good cultivar. You don't produce I'm trying to think now of another one, apricots from seed, unless you're breeding new apricots. Yep. You know, it's just that dragon fruit is so easy to propagate from cuttings that you skip the grafting onto a rootstock stage or whatever, you know.
Yep. And so you're confident, Jason, that there's enough research development, there's enough funding, and as there is in other sectors, I'll say citrus and grapes within South Africa, there's enough interest, there's enough funding coming in for dragon fruit to look to assist in the varietal development.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of varieties already available overseas. There's already been a lot of research into those varieties. But, when we talk about research, we're talking about Southern African conditions.
Yeah.
One of the problems that one has in dragon fruit is because they're easy to propagate, people hand them around and you might get a variety under 2 or 3 different names, same variety. That's a problem. So that's one of the things we want to look at. But in terms of development of new varieties in South Africa, that is, to my knowledge, not started yet.
Excellent, understood. Lauren, you wanted to say a word, please.
Yeah, just very quickly to say that we essentially, just to echo what Jason was saying, that you like any other crop, you don't grow it from seed. You're essentially cloning the genetic by doing it as a vegetatively, we call it vegetatively propagated clonal rooted cutting. And then you can also graft them. We've had quite a lot of success grafting them in the nursery and in field.
Yeah, okay. And just a supplementary question there, just in, except for the different flesh cultivars, has anyone had success with yellow skin cultivar? Anyone?
We've got mother stock in the nursery, but we don't have enough yet on a commercial scale.
Okay. And CT, Mikael, any thoughts on the yellow skin cultivars?
Yeah, Max, it's definitely not as a strong grower as the other varieties that we have. We've done a couple of trials with them, but I think the great thing about them, the time when they flower and when they produce fruit is not the same as the other varieties in many ways. So, and that is one of the challenges that we have with the dragon fruit. We need continuity, because you have a flush of fruit and then everybody's excited, they want more fruit. So maybe that's where we can make it work, the yellow skin varieties.
Okay, but there's a bit of a challenge there. Use my expression again, bit of a speed hump to get over. Mikael, have you seen the same thing as CT just mentioned?
Yes, we haven't actually tried the yellow skin one, but because of the reason that firstly, it's not as flavorous as the darker skinned ones, and the cultivars that's been handed between producers, as Jason mentioned. But then certainly the section, it only starts, some people has fruit in December in South Africa, and that the last ones is just before the winter, South African winter, mid-April to mid-May maybe.
Excellent.
So that is a bit of it's an opportunity, but it's a challenge.
Excellent. It's just a bit of a supplementary question. I've had a WhatsApp in saying, can we get your shirt on your website for merchandise, because we love your shirt? Is your shirt, your work shirt, for sale?
This is actually a Maluma shirt. It's actually one of the avocado cultivars.
Excellent. Stick it up on eBay. You make a fortune. Another question: how many hectares are currently under production in South Africa? Jason, so we throw you that one. Jason's eyes look up.
Yeah, but that's we're actually trying to actively figure that out. Okay. You know, a lot of people are planting 1 or 2 trial hectares just to test the fruit for themselves. So at the formation meeting of the association, I circulated a questionnaire just to find out how many people are planting up. But you know, in 2015, I think the estimates were that there were less than 20 hectares in South Africa. Okay. And just from the results of the questionnaire, which had a limited distribution, and has had just under 40 respondents so far, we easily, I think, easily hitting 60 hectares plus, and I'm sure it's plenty more than that.
Okay, and a supplementary question: yield. What sort of yield do you get per hectare? Jason, are you able to answer that, or should we pass it over?
I'd say pass it over, because it depends on variety and it depends on a number of other factors. Okay. So ask people their experiences rather.
Let's go around the table. But Fred, you start. If it's okay to ask, what sort of land mass have you got planted down, and what sort of productivity are you getting from it, please?
Max, we've got about 8 hectares at this stage that's in production, and we are busy planting some new hectares to new varieties, or actually doing trials on new varieties. We've also started with some grafting of different varieties to see what results we will get from that. But in our experience, limited, we've only been busy with this for 7 years. I believe that you could get up to 20 tons per hectare of production. In South Africa, I think in more tropical areas and in the east, they will do more than that, where they do have a little bit longer season. But we have come close to that. And obviously that depends on variety as well. So my answer will be between 5 and 20 tons per hectare, depending on variety, fruit size, and obviously the specific season as well. But I would say for a commercial variety, for a variety to qualify commercially and for us to farm with it, it will have to do around 10 tons per hectare plus to make financial sense for us.
Okay. And Lauren, what about once the fruit is picked? What's the process it then goes through? Is it very similar to the likes of citrus? Have you got to put in new packaging regimes? Have you got to get a new packaging per se, or can it fit into the process and systems you've already got?
So we've quite comfortably used the processes in our avocado pack house, and we feel that there's actually a really nice opportunity there, because dragon fruit comes into season pretty much as the avocado industry starts to close off for the season. So I mean, and Michal might actually be a good one to come in there, because he's produced more on a commercial scale than we have. But it's I think one of the challenges with dragon fruit is that it has sort of staged flowering, so you get more than one harvest in the season. And so especially for those who are starting out quite small, your first harvest might be, really not huge volumes at all, and then you've got to process that, and then you flower and harvest and process again. So the logistics could be a little bit tricky, but it certainly is something that can be overcome. The cold chain is important. So that is definitely something that needs to be considered for those who are farming maybe at a distance away from facilities. That cold storage is important.
Lauren, thank you. Michal, over to you. Lauren's passed you the baton. You're even more of an expert than she is.
And what makes it interesting, different from the other fruit, is that it has the scales on the fruit. So it can't be washed or polished like the normal one. And if you have little insects having inhabited the scales of the fruit, suddenly you can't remove it mechanically. You have to move it manually, like with a little brush or something.
Wow.
Get the little spider out there with its web. So that makes it a bit, as Siti mentioned, labor intensive, manual labor, persons.
Yeah,
which is good. It employs the society.
Yeah, excellent.
But the packaging, it's exciting, because different strokes for different oaks. We just had at the end of the season, there were some people they were promoting. I won't name names at this stage. They're promoting a type of packaging coming from Limpopo, and then in certain communities in the cities, they would deliver a choice assorted packaging. For our area is new, and this person was very excited about the dragon fruit, because suddenly there's like a flower blossom inside the package, because of the pink and the variations of pink and greens. So lots of excitement about different stuff of packaging.
Excellent. Well done. And just another segue. Contact from California, who's watching this live. He wants to buy your shirt for $50 US. Are you interested? I don't know what we've started here. But just keep it on. Do not take it off. during this broadcast, Leanne and I would be in so much trouble. So much trouble. We better move on. CT, just on that production side, are you resonating? Are you seeing the same as Michael and Lauren, that you can actually put it into your process and system? As Lauren said, on a similar basis to the avocados, does it work for you?
Yeah, no, not really, Max. With our potato backhouse,
of course,
it won't work. But it's luckily it's not very high volumes, so it's really very easy to handle. I think the main thing is you need to keep it cold. So just to keep the cold chain, to make sure you have a good quality product that the consumer. So I think that's the biggest challenge since you have to harvest it during summer.
Okay, so have we got a learning here for growers from South Africa, that if you've got the likes of avocado already on stream, you've got a symbiotic crop that will work well. Whilst if you're growing potatoes, are you a bit risk averse in putting down a large hectarage, because you're then going to have to invest in new production equipment internally? So does that put you off a little bit?
No, not really. I wouldn't say that. I just think I think it's going to have an incremental growth. The industry, there's a huge opportunity in dragon fruit, but we have to educate the consumers. We have to grow with the supply must grow with the demand. It wouldn't be of any value if we overstock the market early on. So I think that's our main concern regarding the scale and the amount of hectares that we've planted, is just because we would rather grow incrementally with the demand.
Yeah, understood. And we just had a supplementary question in, where can one buy the seedlings and how much? If that was okay to suggest, I suggest they contact Fred direct, so that the association can look to gather those questions together, so that there will be efficiency there. And Fred, I think, were you waving at me earlier? Did you have a point to make?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that dragon fruit packhouse at the end of the day, I think, will be a bit of a specialized packhouse. As Setia and Michael mentioned as well, cold chain is very important. But what we have been able to achieve, and what we are very excited about, is that we can actually harvest, pack, and export within 2 days. And we have actually had instances where we have fruit on a shelf in Europe within a couple of days, and it's very fresh. And that's where I feel we're going to get the best results. At this stage, most of the dragon fruit imported and exported, or being freighted all over the world, is by ship, and that gives a subpar product to the consumer at the end of the day, because it takes 3 or 4 weeks to get there. Where we are actually looking at doing it all by air freight, and if you have your packhouse processes in place, we can do that all within a week, and it can be sold to the end consumer, and then obviously they can get the taste of a fresh dragon fruit as it is with us here on the farm. And I think that's where the specialized packhouses will come in. It's a very difficult crop to mechanize for. Most of the harvesting will always be done by hand. Most of the packing will be done by hand, because it's not round. It cannot flow through a normal packhouse. It cannot roll. It must be handled very delicately. But I think that processes will be sorted out. We are growing every year, and last year we've done some proper volumes in our packhouse. It is labor intensive, but if you do it right, and we've got a good exporter and they know what they're doing, we can have fresh product overseas. And I think that's where the big catch is for anyone listening in, or anyone interested in doing this, or buying the product, or looking at retailing this product, is try and get the best quality fruit. It is a niche product. It is an exotic fruit, but it does have a limited lifespan or shelf life, and it should be refrigerated as well. So once you break that, you're going to start losing quality, and that's something that we on farm and as an association and growers in South Africa really want to try and do this, and try and get the best product out as possible.
Well said, Fred. This is such an exciting I feel like we've opened the lid on Pandora's box and found this amazing new fresh produce that's set to potentially dominate the world. Leanne, over to you, please.
So on that, Max, I just wanted to come back to Jason, because when we were talking about this before the broadcast, you know, besides the fruit, the actual plant and the flowers and what can be done with the plant itself is just absolutely amazing. And particularly in a country like South Africa, where we are water short, you know, we have, you know, quite a lot of challenges about, you know, some of our smaller scale farmers moving into the business. You know, I just think that the options that this plant can create besides just the fruit is really incredible and very interesting. And Jason, maybe a little bit of time to explain, you know, when we went through it, you know, how it uses less water, you know, how you can eat part of the plant and use it for, you know, animal feeds and all sorts of things. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. So I do want to sort of loop it in a little bit.
Oh, well, look, I mean, I'm always a huge fan of any kind of permaculture whatsoever. So, you know, some of my projects for the university, I can briefly mention the Future Africa campus, which is an entirely edible garden using African crops. So, you know, I'm naturally attracted to this kind of thing, I think. And what I love about dragon fruit is it's a cactus crop. The plant photosynthesizes differently, so it loses less water per unit photosynthesis than most crops do. I'm not going to go into the detail. I went looked at with you and how that works, but generally your cactus crops use about 1/10 of the amount of water as most traditional fruit crops do. The root system is shallow, and you can use drip irrigation on it, which is even more effective, efficient in water use. The entire plant is in theory edible, but you might not want to chew on some of the woodier bits. The flower is considered a vegetable in the East. I have fried up flower buds before, just out of interest, with a bit of ginger, a bit of soy sauce. Very nice, almost a mushroom meaty texture and taste. You have to, there's a trick to it, otherwise it's a bit slimy, but then so is okra. And I hate okra, but dragon fruit flowers are nice. The young cladodes, when they are very young, are also considered a vegetable. They can be eaten. But one of my more interesting things that I've been working with is mature cladodes. So the plants grow incredibly quickly in season. And you can actually end up pruning quite a lot of biomass of your plants to maintain them. They make a great animal fodder. We've had a look at, I did some nutritional tests of the cladodes, and they compare very well with prickly pear cladodes. And people have grown prickly pear cladodes to feed to cattle and so forth for generations. So it becomes a multi-output crop.
Wow.
And any multi-output crop is more cost effective for the farmer, for everybody.
It is the future. So everyone, we're slightly running out of time. Leanne, have you got anything that you want to ask of the panel?
No, I'm just, I would just be interested in terms of the association. It's not just members in South Africa. I think there's members across the Southern Africa and some of the SADC countries. How many different countries are represented in the association?
At this stage, obviously, most of the growers are situated within South Africa. I would say roughly 90% will be South African farmers. The furthest up north that I know of in Africa will be Zambia. We've got one or two growers up there. And then our neighboring countries, I think except for Mozambique, I think most of them, we've got one or two members from as well, and obviously not in Lesotho, which is mountainous terrain where they can't farm dragon fruit. But there is potential for countries like Mozambique as well, which has got great climate for this, which they are poor countries, and there might be some potential for them to look at something like this. But for us, and I think all the farmers on this panel will agree, It's been a very expensive crop to get established, and I don't think that at this stage how the industry is set up and where we get our plant material from, that it's the cheapest crop to get established at this stage and get into production. We are still figuring out some of the challenges that we have is fertilization and crop protection in terms of pests and diseases and stuff like that. As soon as you start planting high densities, that becomes an issue. But if you plant 1 or 2 of them in your garden, that will not be a problem. But as soon as you commercialize something, you gotta start looking at that, and that might be something worth mentioning if you're gonna start looking at different, let's say, territories to start planting this, because they might have some other problems. The further you go up north in Africa, I think the disease pressure will be a bit more, or the more tropical you get, the disease pressure will probably be a bit more.
Fred, well done. I can already sense that you're going to be the source of authority for the as chair of the Southern African Dragon Fruit Association. So anyone who wants to make contact in country or Southern Africa with Fred, you're going to be on a good mission doing that. So if everyone, just to wrap up, I'd love to get your views as to why a consumer, be they in South Africa, be they in Africa, be they in the UK, be they in Europe, be they in Asia, be they in America, why should the consumer eat and enjoy dragon fruit? So let's go with CT. Come on, CT, you go first. Why should the consumer eat and enjoy dragon fruit, please?
Max, I think, well, it has tremendous health benefits. It's unbelievably tasty, and it's easy to eat. And I think well, looking at dragon fruit, it creates a lot of jobs. It uses very little water, like Jason mentioned. So it's like this. It's almost like you said. It's like we've just stumbled upon this excellent fruit by accident. So yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just the varieties that do not taste well. Most people have experience of bad tasting varieties, and a lot of growers that actually have varieties that do not taste well think they have varieties that do taste well. So there is a bit of a challenge, but I think, as I said, it looks good, it's easy to eat, it's tremendously healthy, and yeah, it's good to nature as well, not using a lot of water.
Jason, why should the consumer eat and enjoy dragon fruit?
Well, it's a great fruit. What do you want me to say? They're great. They're fantastic. I mean, I eat them all season long, and of course, you know, since I have the privilege of advising a number of dragon fruit farmers, I get a lot of fruit for free. But they're tasty. There's 100 different ways to use them. There's really cool recipes on the internet for dragon fruit ice cream, dragon fruit bread. Oh, wow. You've never seen a dragon fruit bread is like purple, man. You know, it's like Barney the dinosaur purple. It's bizarre. You know, I just really enjoy having the fruit around. And it's something that I'd never eaten before 5 years ago, and now it's in the house all season long.
Excellent. Jason, well done. Lauren, why should the consumer eat and enjoy dragon fruit?
So firstly, like Sietsia said, it's so important to make sure that you are eating tasty dragon fruit, because then it is a real experience. It is from the moment you look at it, that beautiful shell, it's so exotic. It almost feels like you're about to eat something dangerous, but it's not prickly, so it doesn't hurt your hands, but it's really exciting. And then you cut it open and you can grab a spoon and literally just scoop it out. It comes in a ready-made bowl, or you can dice it and put it in a salad or make a smoothie. It's endless. And then again, the health benefits. It's just, you feel refreshed after you've eaten dragon fruit. You feel like a surge of vitality rushing through your body. It's phenomenal.
Lauren, well done. I feel that just listening to you.
Okay, good. Because I've got dragon fruits in my freezer.
Michael, over to you. Why should the consumer eat and enjoy dragon fruit?
Look, as at a stage, a friend said to me, she was out of dragon fruit. I won't call names. And then I helped her with some dragon fruit. And that evening, she sent me a photo of a little boy and girl having the dragon fruit. They said, you had made some very happy little friends today. So it just gives you an idea. Some kids love it. And obviously the hot word or the hot spots for now, you can say dragon fruit versus COVID.
And the dragon's going to win every time.
Exactly. Jam-packed with antioxidants and vitamins and stuff.
That's fantastic. Well, Fred, you must be very proud to have growers like this associated with you. This your association is just going to take. I was going to say catch a light. Well, it's a dragon. It's going to be fire breathing and all the best possible fire you can get. So Fred, over to you. What would you like the association? What would your message be? The halcyon call from the association as to why consumers should be eating and consuming dragon fruit.
I think it's an easy way to get your kids to eat healthy. It's very tasty, obviously. It's something new in the market, and that's not always the easiest thing to market. If you are used to buying a certain basket at the grocery store, you're probably going to stick to that. But if you are adventurous in what you want to eat, and you want to eat really healthy, and you want the best quality fruit, look into dragon fruit. Obviously, as mentioned a couple of times before, not all fruits are equal. Not all dragon fruits are equal. And look into what is on offer in your supermarket, what's on offer in your area. Ask your supermarket manager if they cannot get dragon fruit on the shelves as well, if you want to try some. And yeah, even you guys overseas, I hope that one day you can get stocked on your shelves as well, and that it might be some proudly South African product. And hopefully when you do taste it, that you will be happy. But yeah, we are an enthusiastic bunch, and we are really keen on getting this industry or going within South Africa and play a part in the bigger market worldwide. I think we can be a big role player, and that we will be a big role player. And everyone that is that started with it, as far as I know, are looking to expand as well. And we are all very excited where this thing is going. Thank you for the airtime, and thank you for your broadcast. We will definitely be tuning in again on the next ones. And yeah, as I said, we are just very excited, and hopefully we can live up to the expectation and deliver what the quality fruit you guys expect from us.
Fred, well done. Leanne, wrap up for us, please.
So Max, I think it's so great to see a new product coming out of Southern Africa. And if you look at the trend that's happening globally, if you look at your blueberries and your varieties specific for avocado, and how kiwi fruit, and particularly gold kiwi fruit and now red kiwi fruit, have taken off. If you look at global consumption habits, consumers are looking and they want more and more different types of fruit.
Yep.
And particularly, I think dragon fruit also has a very high Brix, which is in line with, you know, the taste profiles and what we're seeing consumers are looking for these days. So I think the opportunity is there. We've got the grower skill sets within South Africa. As you know, we produce amazing fresh produce out of South Africa. And I think with the association lined up, and I do want to put a shout out to some of our other PMA members around the world, and also others on this broadcast. Please contact us if you'd like to collaborate or share some know-how and information. I think, Fred, I can say that, you know, you guys are open to that, to more collaboration, more to learn. And I think it's a great opportunity. And I also think on the back end, you know, in South Africa and Mozambique and some of our neighboring countries, there's some good opportunities for those countries to also have a good fruit, sustainable product coming out as well. So very exciting.
Well done, everyone. South African dragon fruit rocks. I've been so excited. We learned so much. We sort of stumbled across this new superfruit. And as we know, some of the best growers in the world internationally are these people, are the South Africans. So let's enjoy South African dragon fruit as it comes into the UK, European, Australasian, and the American markets. Everyone, well done. And just to wrap up, I've got an MD of a very large fresh produce company in the UK who's really keen to collaborate with you on dragon fruit, and we'll sort that out with Fred and Leanne. But he's very interested in Mikael's shirt, and he's offering 500 US if you admit that the Lions are a better rugby team than the South Africans.
Closed door.
Was that a maybe? so Mikael gets to keep his shirt on for the rest of the broadcast. Everyone, well done. That was brilliant. Really loved that. Really enjoyed that. Love South Africa. Love your fresh produce. Keep safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.